Hi guys, welcome back to my channel. If you're new here, my name is Lane and today I'm going to be talking about my anticipated releases of 2023. Now, again, this is late, so some of these will already be out or on their way to me, especially if they were pre-orders, but I'm still going to do the video because some come out later in the year. So let's just get into it. I will be trying to go in order of when they are published. First up is Bad Cree by Jessica Johns. And this one says, in a gripping debut tinged with supernatural horror, a young Cree woman's dreams lead her on a perilous journey of self-discovery that ultimately forces her to confront the toll of a legacy of violence on her family, her community, and the land they call home. Only a bad Cree would put their family at risk, but what if whatever has been calling Mackenzie home was already inside? I thought I heard that this is a bit similar to Bunny in this sort of supernatural horror, maybe a little bit fantastical element. I don't know. This was technically published on the 10th, so should be on its way to me. And yes, I did pre-order it. That is Bad Cree by Jessica Johns. Next up, I have Hellbent, which is technically already here and will be talked about in a book haul coming soon as well. Hellbent by Leigh Bardugo, the second book in the Alex Stern series is what they're calling it, second book to Ninth House. Now, I read this when I was first getting back into reading in 2020, Ninth House that is. I think it had already been out for a while anyways, because I got it on paperback. So having to wait that long, and I can't imagine people who read Ninth House when it first came out, fucking sucked. But I'm so happy it's here and I can't wait to start it. I really hope they find Darlington and get him back literally out of hell. But I'm very excited for it. Yeah, that's Hellbent. It was published on the 10th. I think we vaguely know what it's going to be about. I obviously don't want to give too much away because it's the second book in the series. So that's Hellbent. Next up is Brutes by Diz Tate. This comes out February 2nd and I did pre-order it. All these first ones will be pre-orders. Back to Brutes by Diz Tate. This says, the Virgin Suicide meets the Florida Project in this wildly original debut. A coming-of-age story about the crucible of girlhood from a writer of rare and startling talent. We would not be born out of sweetness. We were born out of rage. We felt it in our bones. In Falls Landing, Florida, a place built of theme parks, swampy lakes, and scorched bougainvillean flowers, something sinister lurks in the deep. A gang of 13-year-old girls obsessively orbit around the local preacher's daughter, Sammy. She is mesmerizing, older, and in love with Eddie, but suddenly Sammy goes missing. Where is she? Watching from a distance, they edge ever closer to discovering a dark secret about their fame-hungry town and the cruel cost of a ticket out. What they see will continue to haunt them for the rest of their lives. Through a darkly beautiful and brutally compelling lens, Diz Tate captures the violence, horrors, and manic joys of girlhood. Brutes is a novel about the seemingly unbreakable bonds in the we of young friendship and the moment it is broken forever. Definitely excited for that one. That sounds good. Also, cover, beautiful. Originally what made me buy it. Next up, don't know why I keep closing my Goodreads app because I need it, is Big Swiss by Jen Begin. I think I said the last name wrong. This comes out February 7th, and this is about a girl who I think starts transcribing sex therapy sessions, sessions from a sex coach. And then she becomes infatuated with one of the clients of the sex therapist. It says, Greta is fascinated by Big Swiss's refreshing attitude towards trauma. They both have dark histories, but Big Swiss chooses to remain unattached to her suffering while Greta continues to be tortured by her past. Then, One day, Greta recognizes Big Swiss's voice at the dog park. In a panic, she introduces herself and they quickly become enmeshed. Should be interesting. This says her attraction to Big Swiss overrides her guilt and she'll do anything to sustain the relationship. This one definitely sounds a little bit weird, so I was hesitant, but not hesitant enough to not pre-order it. So that one's pre-ordered. Yeah, that is Big Swiss. Next up, I have My Last Innocent Year by Daisy Alpert Florin. I don't know if I said that right again. This comes out February 14th. Now, I'm a big sucker for books that come out in February because it's my month that holds my birthday. So, love that. Also, coming out on Valentine's Day. Also love that. Anyways, My Last Innocent Year is about this. An incisive, deeply resonant debut novel about a non-consensual sexual encounter that propels one woman's final semester at an elite New England college into controversy and chaos. Having a hard time talking. So I think it's all about what this encounter does to her, and talking about consent and adulthood, and this says here whether or not we can ever outrun our bad decisions. Yeah, so that is My Last Innocent Year. I didn't explain too much about it. Again, comes out February 14th. I think I said that. Next up is, sorry, I'm looking at my phone, A Day of Fallen Night by Samantha Shannon. Now, this was a prequel to A Priory of the Orange Tree that I haven't read yet, but I still pre-ordered this. This comes out February 28th, and it's a prequel, so it's still within that world, but it's going to be set before The Priory of the Orange Tree. It looks like it's 50 years before, and I don't want to say too much. I'm not sure how much prequels can give away, but yeah, that's all I can say. It is a prequel. Next up is Clytemnestra. I really hope I said that right. By Costanza Casanti. That comes out March 7th, and that is about Clytemnestra, who is the most notorious villainess of the ancient world and the events that forged her into a legendary queen. It says, as for queens, they are either hated or forgotten. She already knows which option suits her best. You were born to a king, but you marry a tyrant. You stand by helplessly as he sacrifices your child to placate the gods. You watch him wage war on foreign shore and you cover yourself with violent thoughts of your own, because this was not the first offense against you. I will say, if you want a little bit of Clytemnestra's story, you can read Electra. Her story is in it a little bit, and I definitely didn't see her as a villain, so I thought this would be interesting to read after reading Electra, how I feel about her and how this sort of paints her as well. So I sort of know her story, but I'm still definitely willing to read this. Next up is gonna be Atalanta by Jennifer Saint. This comes out April 13th, and this one I'm so fucking excited for. It says, when a daughter is born to the king of Arcadia, she brings only disappointment. Left exposed on a mountainside, the defenseless infant Atalanta is left to the mercy of a passing mother bear and raised alongside the cubs under the protective eye of the goddess Artemis. Swearing that she will prove her worth alongside the famed heroes of Greece, Atalanta leaves her forest to join Jason's band of Argonauts. But can she carve out her own place in the legends in a world made for men? When I first read the synopsis of this, I was like, a woman who raised by fucking bears? Yes, please. Like, and that cover, oh my gosh, I'm so excited for it. I am excited. It's gonna be great. So that's Atalanta by Jennifer Saint. Gonna be great. Next up is Yellowface by R.F. Kuang. R.F. Kuang releasing another book literally mere months after Babel, a fucking amazing book. This comes out May 16th. And this is about New York Times best-selling author sensation Juniper Song is not who she says she is. She didn't write the book she claims to wrote, and she's most certainly not Asian American. In this chilling and hilariously cutting novel from R.F. Kuang, in the vein of White Ivy and the Other Black Girl, authors June Hayward and Athena Liu were supposed to be twin rising stars. Same year at Yale, same debut year in publishing, but Athena's a cross-genre literary darling, and June didn't even get a paperback release. Nobody wants stories about basic white girls, June thinks. So when June witnesses Athena's death in a freak accident, she acts on impulse. She steals Athena's just-finished masterpiece, an experimental novel about the unsung contributions of Chinese laborers to the British and French war efforts during World War I. So what if June edits Athena's novel and sends it to her agent as her own? So what if she lets her new publisher rebrand her as Juniper Song, complete with an ambiguously ethnic author photo? Doesn't this piece of history deserve to be told, whoever the teller? That's what June claims, and the New York Times bestseller list seems to agree. But June can't get away from Athena's shadow, and emerging evidence threatens to bring June's stolen success down around her. As June races to protect her secret, she discovers exactly how far she will go to keep what she thinks she deserves. You know this is going to be another fucking banger by R.F. Kuang. This says, Yellowface takes on questions of diversity, racism, and cultural appropriation not only in the publishing industry, but the persistent erasure of Asian American voices and history by Western white society. I'm so excited for this. Oh, it's gonna be so good. Next up, and the last one I'll talk about because my camera's overheating, is Ripe by Sarah Rose Eater. This book comes out July 11th. I know she has another book called The Book of X, and if I like Ripe, I think I'd pick that up. This book, though, Ripe, is about a woman in Silicon Valley who must decide how much she's willing to give up for success. Perfect for fans of My Year of Rest and Relaxation and The Need. A year into her dream job at a cutthroat Silicon Valley startup, Cassie finds herself trapped in a corporate nightmare. Between the long hours, toxic bosses, and unethical projects, she also struggles to reconcile the glittering promise of a city where obscene wealth lives alongside abject poverty. Ivy League grads complain about the snack selection from a conference room with a view of houseless people bathing in the bay. Startup burnouts leap into the paths of commuter trains, and men literally set themselves on fire in the streets. Though isolated, Cassie is never alone. From her earliest memory, a miniature black hole has been her constant companion. It feeds on her depression and anxiety, its size changing in relation to her distress. The black hole watches, but it also waits. Its relentless pull draws Cassie ever close as the world around her unravels. When her CEO's demand cross an illegal threshold, and she ends up unexpectedly pregnant, Cassie must decide whether the tempting fruits of Silicon Valley are really worth it. Sharp but vulnerable, funny yet unsettling, Ripe portrays one millennial woman's journey through our late capitalistic hellscape and offers a brilliantly incisive look at the absurdities of modern life. Yes, so that is it for the pre-orders so far. There will be more later in the year. But that's it that I'm going to talk about in this video. I hope you get some ideas of books that you want to add to your list, especially debut novels and releases from amazing authors. Anyways, I hope you have a good day, and I will talk to you guys later. Bye!